Off to post the winner's parcels. Hey guys, Jamie here, keeping it coy. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome. Hope I can earn your subscription today. Whew, what an ordeal I've just had this morning. Come downstairs, start walking to the back door to come and sort out the fish, and got stared in the face by this. Ferret. So I took a picture, as you saw there, and went to post it on Facebook to say, does anybody or has anybody lost this? And as I went to post it, I saw another post saying one of my neighbours had lost two. So quickly dropped them a message, and yeah, they came round and picked that. Come to pick that one up. We couldn't find it then in the garden at the time, but we found the other one, and then the first one that was just in that picture ran into the house. Went to go and see Nala. She didn't like that. She didn't like that one bit, bless her. So yeah, that was a fun, stressful 10 minutes. But yeah, what have I been up to pond related? Well, as you saw yesterday, or not yesterday for me, not for you, but I just wired up my electrics. Need to sort that bit of wood out there to make it look better. Still works. But yeah, haven't yet put the seat back. Still got a big gap in there by the window and where all the electric cables go. And the reason for that is I just pulled up some more decking to put a new hose pipe in. So that one's now my garden hose, which when all this mess is sorted will be moved and put somewhere better. And the blue one is now my pond hose, which goes under the decking there, all the way along there, comes up and out there. I was hoping to put it underneath, but unfortunately, because of the way the gravel and the mud and everything is under that bench, it had to come out at that point. But that's alright, because the bench will hide that when I push the bench back in a minute. And yeah, that now goes round the back of the pond and into the dechlorinator, which is still currently sat just down there. As you can see, fish are all doing all good, and you can probably hear it. It's just starting to rain. But yeah, fish are doing absolutely fantastic at the minute. Fry are all doing brilliant as well. Got the cover up on them at the minute because I was about to go and do a clean on both of the fry vats, but yeah, it's not supposed to rain today. Good old weatherman. So yeah, that's going to have to wait now a few minutes, because I don't want to get wet, not today. But yeah, so still a bit when you come downstairs to the back door and see that little face staring at you. I thought it was a stoat or something at first, and then realised no problem now. So the first thing I did when I did manage to get out in the back garden is lift the fry vat up, make sure all the fry is still there. Oh, what a nightmare. But no, they were actually quite friendly little ferrets when he come round. We went look. Obviously my garden's still a tip at the minute, so we went looking for the first one, and on the way down to near the back of the garden, saw the other one, and he was hiding under some bits of wood down there. And Emma, bless her heart, she got to hold the ferrets. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, the hose pipe is now done. I've got to try and clean out the vats when it stops raining, but as you can probably see, it's absolutely peeing it down. So that'll wait 5 minutes, maybe 10, maybe all day, who knows. But yeah, and yeah, a bit later on, Skeggy will pop down and he'll have he's bringing a pump with him, and we've got a test to do, so we'll pop that in on this video as well. So yeah, maybe I'll give the fishies a bit more food. They're still on 3 feeds a day, but I've just lowered it down to just 2 handfuls now instead of about 4 or 5 handfuls. They still eat every drop that goes in, very little goes down the skimmer. Yeah, we're just on all seasons stuff pretty much now, and then once my tubs are empty again, which it's nearly empty, then I'll start mixing the all seasons with the wheat jam, and then when it's empty again, it will just be wheat jam, more than likely, depending on the temps of the pond. I mean, we're still holding a good steady 15 to 16 degrees. Oh, that window needs a clean, doesn't it? Yeah, still holding a good 15 to 16 degrees in the main one, and about 14 to 15 in the vats at the minute. It's been quite, although it's a lot cooler than obviously it was during the summer, it's been quite stable, which is unusual for England. I normally come down in the morning and the pond's at 15, and then by the end of the day it's back up at 16, which normally by when we get to this kind of weather it drops by about 3 or 4 degrees overnight, and then only comes up 1 or 2 degrees during the day. But no, it's only fluctuating a degree at the minute. So, but yeah, catch you in a bizzle. New t-shirt, boys. Right then, guys. Well, as you can see, the sun's finally come out, and I'm now down at the back of the pond. I've just cleaned both of the vats out, so we're all good there. But something arrived in the post this morning, so I thought I would show you, squirrel, I thought I'd show you exactly how good these Vari switches are before Skeggy comes down and we test it on the water pump. So without further ado, as you can see, the air is working down there, and then there's, you probably will know, there's some air stones down this side as well. So yeah, I'll spin you around and show you what I mean. So yeah, you can see some air stones down this side. There's a couple also going in that corner, and then there's one, the biggest one I've got in there, down in that corner. And as you can see, they are blowing quite well at the minute. And that water is literally almost raising out of the vat. So yeah, the reason behind why they're blowing so good at the minute is I don't have the Vari switch currently on, and the reason behind that is my watt meter's finally arrived. So someone in my last video about saving money with these things did comment and said the air pump I've got should run at about 34 watts, which as you can clearly see it does. So yeah, it's running at 34 watts. Apologies for the camera work, not easy all one-handed. So yeah, running at 34 watts, full bore with the air pump plugged straight in. So we will unplug that for a second. Now, when you unplug things, they certainly shoot up in wattage, don't they? And now we will plug in the Vari switch. Now it's currently set to how I have got it for this vat, at that angle. And now I will plug the air pump back in, and we'll see what that creeps up to. So remember guys, it was at 34 point whatever watts, and look at that for a saving. I am currently running this pond with an air pump at 4.5 watts. Absolutely nothing. I mean, I don't even know what that is as a percentage wise, but it's not a lot. Just over 10%. And as you can see, the air is still bubbling a good one. And obviously these ones down here, if I can squeeze round, they're still bubbling a good one as well. And then there's one under there, and one under the waterfall, but you can't really tell that's bubbling because it's right under the waterfall. But yeah, plenty of water movement. The only bit that's really still is this very far corner here, because there's no air over here. As you can see, the fly don't mind. But yeah, the air stones are bubbling a good one. That is what I have this set to, which is only costing me around 4.2 to 4.5 watts. And just to show you how good this is, that if I just start cranking it up, the more air you put in, the more wattage it costs. So if we cranked it up to full whack for a second, does it still run at the 34 watts? The answer is yes. But even if you just turn it down just a tiny bit, so let's say to there, right, just turned it down, not even a quarter turn, and look, we're already saving over 10 watts per hour. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. And look, by turning it down just that tiny bit, we are still bubbling uber vigorously, yet you're saving 10 watts an hour. I mean, that's incredible, absolutely incredible. So I mean, turn it right down so it barely bubbling. So that's even lower now than I have it set to. I mean, it's so low, the wattage meter ain't even picking it up. Are the bubbles still running? Let's have a look. No, not really. Right, so that's why it's saying none. I've gone slightly too low. So let's crank it up till it picks it up on there. There you go, 1 watt. Between 1.1 and 1.4 watts. Stabilising at 1.4. No, it's gone back down to 1.1. So yeah, just over 1 watt. So if you've got a really small vat and a big pump, as you can see, there are some now bubbles coming out. Not a lot, very not a lot. So I wouldn't say 1 watt is any good, not unless it's a small fish tank. What are we at now? So just over 2 watts, between 2 and 2.5 watts. Again, sorry for all the shoddy camera work. But yeah, we're getting a nice bubble at 2 watts. Bear in mind, there's 5 air stones in this system. Well, 6 actually, because that same air pump is also powering that. Obviously at 2 watts, that's not blowing a great deal. Yes, they've just been fed. But yeah, so 6 air stones, and that's what I'm getting out for 2 air watts on each air stone, including the little air filter in there. So yeah, save yourself a fortune this winter if you can turn your air down even just a tiny bit. Crank it back up to where I have it, which is about there. Yeah, between 3.1 and 3.4 watts. That's what it was a minute ago. And last look, that's now blowing a good one. That's now blowing a good one, and everyone's happy. So 3 watts instead of 30 watts. I'm saving a lot of money, and we'll find out later if these Variispeed pumps work on water pumps. So I'll snap back to you all in a bizzle. Hey guys, so I'm back here. My man Daz is just taking a phone call from Vince, but
no,
you all asked, so I'm going to deliver. Daz has just come round and dropped a water pump, which I've stuck in my blue bowl. And the question that was asked to me is, do these Vari
All
switches
right, cheers, thanks.
work with water pumps. And Daz says this one's about 5,000 litres an hour. As you can see, it's plugged in, currently in the off position at the minute. But if I start twisting it slowly, you will see that water will start to move. Now bear in mind, this is a 5,000 litre an hour pump, and that obviously is not 5,000 litres an hour. That is! So the answer to everyone's question, let me drag this over here a bit, and just keep that door open a bit for me, Daz. Thank you very much. The answer to everyone's question, does a Variispeed pump work with a water pump? Well, it's certain, I can't guarantee it will work for every pump, but as you can see, my fingers are twisting and the pump is going down. So the answer to the question is yes, with at least some water pumps.
That's an Oasis pump.
This is an Vari pump. Obviously it's a non-variable pump. There would be no point buying one of these switches if you had a variable pump. But yeah, for a non-variable pump, these fan Variispeed dimmer switches, whatever you want to call it, do work with certain water pumps. So I'm not guaranteeing that it will work with yours, but it certainly works with some, and it's worth a try, innit? If you don't have a Vari pump and you want a Vari pump, give that a shot before you fork out for a brand new pump. What a great little gadget. And there we have it then, guys. Yeah, so them Vari switches, not only can they work on some water pumps as well, whether it'll work on every water pump, we just have to try and find out, I guess. Can't guarantee it will work on every water pump, but it certainly worked on the one Daz brought up. So, bonus. And again, as you've all seen, it can save you a lot of watts, an awful lot of watts. I mean, I'm running the Blue Vat with a 70 litre per minute air pump using 3 watts. 3. I mean, that's absolutely crazy. That's nothing, is it? It's like 10% of what it should be at. But that's, I mean, the air that's coming out of that is absolutely plenty enough to be powering this vat and this vat. So it's powering both vats for 3 watts. So yeah, I've ordered another Vari switch so I can turn the air down ever so slightly. Not a lot, I'll probably only save a few watts, but a few watts is a few watts, isn't it? For the main pond, as long as I can keep the moving bed in the drum bubbling a good one, I can then turn the water down ever so slightly on the main pond. I mean, it's bubbling a good one at the minute, as you can see. So turn that down just a tiny bit, maybe save 5-10 watts, who knows. But yeah, a saving's a saving. So I mean, Skeggy in his video that came out the other week, he said he got his for £10 off Amazon. Well, I got mine for $7.99 off eBay. Link was in the last video, but I'll put the link again for that in the description for this video. $7.99, 2 to 3 days for delivery, and within 1 season it's going to have paid for itself, isn't it? You know, what more can you ask for? So yeah, as the title of this video, save even more money this winter with a Variispeed controller. And on that note, thank you all for watching. Thank you for everyone that's liked and subscribed, and we will catch you all on the next one.